Welcome to tonight's Pilates practice. Just for this evening, you will need 3 cushions and a blanket for the relaxation towards the end. So you can even grab them now or in a little bit. So I will leave that up to you. We're going to start tonight in standing, and we're going to get a bit of movement going and work through the body, but then we are going to leave a bit more time than normal for a bit of a longer relaxation. So let's come over onto your mat and into standing. And give yourself a little moment, so gap between the feet and the knees, lengthen up and out through the crown of the head. And just notice how you arrive on your mat tonight. Just taking a quick scan through the body, through the physical body. Notice any areas of tension. And see if you can just soften into this standing position. And then just noticing your thoughts. And see if you can just bring them into this present moment. Be aware of your heart rate. Does it feel steady? Does it feel a little bit quick? Just observing, not trying to change anything. And then just let's look at our standing posture. So reaching up and out through the crown of the head, feeling that length through the body. And then finding our neutral position, the head, the ribs and the pelvis feeling nice and stacked. Take a few shoulder rolls back and down. And then just allow the shoulders to settle down the back. Feel that width across the collarbones. Feel the space created. Find some length between the ribs and the hips. Bit of softness at the back of the kneecaps. And then bring your attention to your breathing. Taking the breath wide into the rib cage, engaging that lateral breath. And then just a little bit of gentle core engagement. So drawing the belly button towards the spine, just a small amount. And then maintaining that core connection as you breathe into the rib cage. And then just in your own way, recognizing and welcoming the presence of God within you and around you in this practice. And then we're going to begin to move, and we're just going to kind of loosen through everything. This practice is aimed at the end of the day. It can be done any time of the day. But let's start with some single shoulder rolls and just loosen through. And again, just really trying to move in a way that feels good for you, good for your body for today. You might find that you actually want to move a bit quickly, like you want to move some tension or stress out of the body. Sometimes it's nice to move more quickly, or you might want to go really slowly and carefully. No right or wrong, go with how you feel. See if you want to make this movement bigger, you can bend the elbows. You can maybe even straighten the arms and take into some full single arm circles, just allowing that stretch, that opening of the chest. And then coming back to center, feeling that center point again, roll the shoulders back and down together just to even out. And then let's do some rib cage closure. So keeping a feeling of just heaviness at the front of the rib cage, holding that nice line through the spine. Inhale, the arms come up, and exhale, the arms come down. Matching the breath to movement, find yourself in a nice flow. And then we're just going to swing the arms backwards and forwards, one forward, one back. You can turn out the back hand if that feels comfortable for you. And again, just quite a free and easy movement. And then back to center, soften the knees and rotate. Again, just that feeling of loosening everything that's come in the day and just loosen it and releasing it through. And then back to center into side bend. For side bend, we're going to keep the core switched on. I'm actually going to be a bit slower. So ear to the shoulder and then come over and just allow the fibers of the muscles down the side body, the obliques, to just open up. Give them a moment to do that. Use the belly button, just draw back up to center and go over to the other side. So just try to refrain from rushing through this. It's giving the muscles a chance to respond. Now we'll make it slightly more active and dynamic. So we'll take the feet a bit wider, hands to the ears, drop the shoulders, come over and then use the muscles down the side of the waist to lift you back up to center. Over to the other side, back up to center. Now we're going to build in a small amount of rotation here. So keep the core working, come over to the side, and then turn and look down. Small rotation, turning the ribs, come back to center. And the other side. So side bend, small rotation, coming back up. Good. One more. And then just in a slightly wider position, we're going to just do a few mini squats. We're going to sit the weight back and press up, just loosening through the hips, knees and ankles. I'll come to a side view for you to see. We keep a neutral spine and we just take the weight out behind us. You can add more depth if you prefer, or even less than I'm doing. I'm going probably about in the middle. If you want to move more, feel free to take that into a deeper squat and come back up. That's your choice. Last one. And then we'll lift and circle the ankle, working on the balance. Use the whole of the foot and the core. Lift and circle the ankle. You can hold onto a wall if you prefer. Opposite direction. And then place back down and switch. Again, just using the core to help stabilize the whole of the foot. Opposite direction. Place back down and just pedal through the feet. And let's take our lovely roll down movement. So standing at the top of the mat, take a breath in. As you exhale, look down, nod the chin to the chest, begin to peel down bone by bone, keep some softness at the back of the knees, engage the core. Take a breath in at the lowest point, wherever that is for you. Exhale, pull the belly button up, bring the pelvis forward, and then stacking sequentially, coming all the way back up. Take a breath in, and let's do that one more time. And then from here, we're going to sweep both arms up overhead, interlace the fingers, take a big stretch up, over to one side, big stretch up, over to the other side. Back to center, take a breath in. Exhale, stretch through the fingertips all the way down. Roll the shoulders back and down. And then we're going to come down into seated and into our centering prayer practice. So if you would prefer to sit on a normal chair, you can do that now instead. You can have the legs crossed or you can have them straight out in front of you. So find yourself in a nice comfortable seat. And for centering prayer practice, we're just going to do 2 minutes of silence. So first of all, just choosing a position with the hands. You want to settle and be still in the body. So find a position where that feels like that is going to be comfortable for you. Find some length up and out through the crown of the head. Draw the belly button to the spine just a tiny bit so you've got that support. And then choose a word to be your focus, the centering prayer. If you'd rather just focus on the breath, you can do that. And remember, we're doing this in the context of the indwelling of the Holy Spirit and God being around us everywhere. So as we do this, we're just resting in the presence of God. We're allowing ourselves just to be and to be with God without any thought, without any reflection, without any analyzing. We're just being with God. So once you've chosen a word that feels right for you, you could choose peace, Jesus, God, spirit, love. Choosing that word. You're going to try and just keep your focus on the presence of God, and every time you find your mind wandering away, as it will, you're going to use that word to center you back. So when you're ready with your word, you can close your eyes. It really helps for you to release into this, but keep them open if you would prefer. And I'm just going to be silent for 2 minutes. And when you're ready, just opening your eyes and then just inviting the body to come back into some gentle movement. Come down on the floor if you chose to do your centering prayer in a chair. And then you can have the legs crossed or in front of you, fingertips to the side. Let's just take a couple of nice side stretches. So I'm going to move into a section now of just mobility and stretching. Before we relax and do our examine. Last one to each side. And then from here, lengthen the legs out in front of you. And gently ease your way forward, bending the knees or taking any other support that you need to. And then bringing the legs gently in, taking them out in front of you. Sole of the foot either to the calf or to the thigh. Keep the spine nice and long, and then we'll walk our hands forward so you feel that you're getting a nice stretch, but it's not too deep. And then you can let the head and neck relax so you're fully flexed forward. Keep a little bit of core support again, holding into that stretch. I'm just going to adjust my screen a little bit. And then swapping legs. And the same thing. Finding that stretch forward, releasing the head and neck. If it feels comfortable, you don't have to if it doesn't. And then easing your way back up. Bend the knees up, take the hands out behind you, lean back slightly, and then just bring the knees to one side and then the other. Again, as much movement as feels good for you. And then coming back to center, and we're going to come into traveling cat. So this is a great way to get some mobility into the spine. So from here, you're going to come into 4-point kneeling. You're taking the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hip. Find your neutral spine position. Slide the shoulder blades down the back, engaging the core slightly. And we're going to work with the breath. So here you're going to take a breath in and come into your cat stretch. As you breathe out, you're going to travel back. Breathe in to come back to neutral. Breathe out to come back to the beginning. Breathe in and round. Breathe out, push back. Breathe into neutral. And breathe out, coming back up. Once more, breathing into cat. Breathing out, stretch back. Breathe into neutral. Breathe out, coming up. And then we're going to go the other way. So take a breath in to prepare. Breathe out, stretch back. Breathe into round. Breathe out to travel up. Breathe into neutral and just keep going. Last one. Holding a neutral spine, and lengthen the right leg out behind you. Hook the toes under and rock gently backwards and forwards. Shoulders stay nice and stable, slid down away from the ears. Belly button drawing towards the spine, looking straight down, keeping some length through the neck. Swap legs. And then place back down, push back into rest position, and just come back, bring your awareness back to the presence of God. Couple more breaths. And then coming back up into 4-point kneeling, finding your neutral spine, and then coming straight into your minute of free movement. So moving however feels good from this position for 1 minute. Choosing the speed and the depth of movement that you want to do. Maybe finding where it feels tight or stiff and stretching into it, lingering there. If you need to move more, you can hook your toes under and then have that as part of your range of movements, which will give you more choice of how to move. But otherwise, hands and knees is normally fine. Last few seconds. And then settling back into center, and we'll transition around to lying on our back. So when you're ready, just making your way around and onto your back and finding your neutral position from here. So again, head, rib cage and pelvis in line, loosen the hip creases, feet flat on the floor, shoulders nice and soft and released. Then let's move straight into the shoulder bridge, so some more spinal articulation. Taking a breath in to prepare. And then as you exhale, tilting the pelvis, peeling up through the spine, bone by bone, lifting the hips, inhaling at the top. And then as you exhale, slowly releasing down, bone by bone, coming all the way back to neutral, taking your inhale. And then just continue flowing with your own breath pattern. Just noticing again what you're thinking about, trying to stay with the feelings and the sensations in the body, staying in the present moment and staying in the presence of God. Now let's go for 2 more of those. And then once you've finished, hug both knees in towards the chest and circle around, releasing the back into the ground. Opposite direction. Coming back to center, holding on behind the right leg, lengthening the left leg away. Swapping legs, taking your time through the transition. And then placing the feet flat down. Bring the feet, knees and thighs completely together, arms out to the side, relax the shoulders, and we'll come into a hip twist. Slightly quicker breath pattern. So take a breath in, exhale, knees one way, look over the opposite shoulder. Inhale back to center and exhale over to the other side. Keep both shoulders connected with the mat, just being aware particularly of the opposite one to where the knees have gone. One more to each side. And coming back to the center. This is where you're going to need your cushions in your blanket. Also feel free to put another layer on just so you'll be nice and warm. And we're going to do relaxation and some breath work. And then after that, we'll come in to our examine at the end if you're still awake. So you can need to have a little bit of a play around with the cushions if you haven't done it before, because it just depends how you feel more comfortable. So I think one underneath your head and two underneath the back of your knees feels really nice. Have a go. If it just doesn't feel good, then just take a couple of them away. So you don't have to have the cushions. They do just help you kind of let go and sink into it a little bit more. So one under the back of the head, two under the backs of the knees, and then you can have the blanket over you if you want to. And then like that, I've just got cushions off my sofa, but you can use anything. You can use bed pillows, anything that feels right for you. And then you can pop the blanket over you and lie down. So there's not going to be any more movement in the practice. So you can kind of just rest into that. Let the body sink down. Make any adjustments that you need to so that you can feel comfortable. And then just have your hands on your tummy. And then we're going to just focus first on our breathing. So you're going to lengthen and deepen the breath. And I want to challenge you to be as slow as you can taking your breath. So you're going to breathe all the way in and fill every bit of available space. So you're going to drop the breath deeply into the tummy first on the inhale. Let it rise up to the rib cage, finally to the upper chest till you can't breathe in anymore. And then you're going to let that breath go. Feel the sinking all the way down. You'll feel your tummy muscles engage at the end. And then you're going to do it again. And again, I'm going to come just back to the silence. I'm going to do this for 2 minutes again. And I just want you to focus on the feeling of the breath. So it's really going to help, again, to anchor you in the present moment and to help you get the most out of this breathing exercise. So when you're ready, just begin breathing in and breathing out. Take one more deep breath all the way in and all the way out. And then just allow the breath to be very natural. Bring the hands into just whatever position they feel comfortable in. And then I just want you to scan through the body and see if you can let go of any more tension that you might not even be aware of. So first of all, can you let the head, the back of the head, just release any more into the support of the cushion? Making more weight come through. And then just soften between the eyebrows. Relax the jaw. If the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, just let it soften away. Maybe actively just move the shoulders down a little bit more away from the ears. Feel that openness and softness across the chest and the collarbones. Feel the back of the ribs connecting with your mat. Allow even more softness and weight through the hips and the pelvis, the legs and the feet. And then just remaining lying down, we'll move into the examine part of our practice. So again, just inviting God to lead you and to guide you in this time. Consecrating your thoughts and your imagination. And just begin to scan back over your day. And when you got up to this present moment, or if you're practicing in the morning, then you could do it about yesterday. Where did you find life today? What are you grateful for? Where did you find a sense of the presence of God, the goodness of God? You might be surprised by what comes to mind. You can choose one thing or several. And then in that same way, scanning back over your day and noticing what was hard. Where was there maybe that sense of emptiness, distraction, loss, disconnect. And again, recognizing that, allowing it to come to the surface and then releasing it. And then take a moment just to consecrate your tomorrow to God. Just recognizing now that God has been present with you throughout your day, present with you now in this practice, and will be present with you tomorrow. And I'm going to end the practice here. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Good night.